DG SANCO was always, I think, in the lead, or in the past years in the lead of asking for more. I exactly remember these DG SANCO conferences where you called in front of the industry and said, we need more information and be more transparent in these kind of questions. So my question to you is, what will be your activities in that field? Will we have another DG SANCO conference talking about that issue? So what will coming up from DG SANCO?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons, coming back and linking to the comments of my colleagues from the other DGs about the activities and information, one of the first things that we realized at DG SANCO, and maybe it had to do with a lot with the early attempts by the committees that are still under the tutelage of DG SANCO to assess, to provide some guidance on the assessment of nanomaterials. And it turned out, at least at the time, we were talking about 5, 6, maybe more years ago, and it still holds true to a certain extent when it comes to the comment that Henrik made about the definitions and the evolution of nanotechnology. And this is an area where basically the output of any organization, in particular regulatory organization, whether that's a definition, whether it's guidelines on the assessment, whether it's in the advice of a scientific committee, really relies on the amount of information that is available to that organization.
Could you take the mic?
I know I'm stating the obvious here, but it is not that obvious because really where to find that information has been a major bottleneck. So the SANCO initiatives to obtain more information on nanomaterials uses, the type of thing that we're discussing this afternoon, have come from the fact that when we first asked the scientists about guidance on the assessment of nanomaterials, there was really a tremendous lack of information about what types of nanomaterials existed, what kind of studies the industry had done both in terms of performance and safety. When the dialogues took place, as I said, the information was really very scarce and hard to find. We're now at a stage where there is growing body of knowledge, both in terms of safety and in terms of safety and science being translated into policy. So we're now at the downstream stage where actually the scientific developments, whether they've been evolved into a definition or guidelines for the risk assessment, are now being put into specific legislation. So if we're to structure an event, or if we're to structure a situation in general, a dialogue on nano, I think we need to be very, very clear about setting the framework and the terms of reference of exactly what we're going to do. And I come back from the last point that is, unless there is a situation, I think, where we can have true knowledge sharing, and maybe communication, for example, will be one subject, because that's another issue, is how actually do you communicate what you find out about nanomaterials. I think we could structure a dialogue, but to me the important caveat would be that it is really new information being generated and new areas in nano. What are the new challenges? And I think communication is one of them. So